Okay, good morning. My name is Abid and I'm going to be your host for the session today. I hope you all can hear me. All right. So, taking that as a yes. So, let me introduce myself first. All right. So, I've been training people for almost last 5 years now. So, I have trained people in SQL, Python, individual programming languages, as well as data science. So, data science, data analytics, data visualization, I've taken online and offline, both trainings. And let's say if you are coming from a different field where you have not uh, when I say a different field, I mean you're not from IT. IT would be anybody who has taken up computer science in your bachelor's, in your master's, whatever you have done. If you're taken computer science, then you are from IT. Any other field means you're doing a transition. Even if you've done engineering, but you have done it from a different field, then this is still a transition. So a lot of people get confused that they are transitioning into this field and they might not be able to learn these or move into a different field. So this session today I'll try to explain to you in a way that you will understand that it's not difficult to make a transition if you are interested in learning something new. You have to show your interest and you have to proceed, and I think that's all that is required. And you don't have to know any programming language or anything for this. I'm going to help you from scratch. So, without any further ado, let's proceed with the session. Do you know what is data science? Have you done your own research on data science? Because when you start searching for data science, there are a lot of things that come up, isn't it? Things like data analytics, data visualization, machine learning. You'll also come across deep learning and now something called as AI, which I believe everybody is using now, isn't it? So you must be using, I believe, ChatGPT or Gemini or any such tool. So for developing those tools also, you should have a basic knowledge of what data is. Forget about data science, data analytics, visualization, and everything, right? We will get to that. We'll try to understand what that is. But let's just understand what this term data is about. What I know about data is information, right? Information is important knowledge, or I don't think important, useful knowledge. And when I say useful knowledge, I don't mean about the general knowledge. I mean about subject specific knowledge. For example, examples of data can be um, the screen time. You have the screen time app in your phones, right? So the screen time that is being tracked, that is data. Or if you talk about your grocery list, that is also data. Monthly expenses, all these come under data. So why am I giving you these examples? These are relatable. But when I get into proper company terms, right? So it could be sales data, employees, for an HR, employees and their compensation and all. You might also have profits. I think that should be it for now. There are many others, but these are something that we can understand easily, isn't it? So this is data. Now, with all this information, how is this useful? Have you ever, noticed this that, when you search for something online, you get a lot of ads about it. Whether you search about it on Amazon, Flipkart, you start getting ads on your Snapchat or Instagram or YouTube. You start getting ads about them everywhere. And not just searching, even when you, sorry, even when you speak about something in front of your phone, there are a lot of ads about them as soon as you unlock your phone and start using it. I don't know if you've noticed it, but it happens. Yes, there are some settings on your phone where you can, disable that, but most of us have not done it, right? And that's how, or I should say, that's how, your data is being tracked, and that data can be made useful for them. I see somebody has joined here. Can you hear me, Fazil?
Hi. Yes, mm, just joined.
Okay. Would you want to introduce yourself? I'll probably pause for a while.
Okay. I, I'm Mohammad Fazluddin. I have done graduation from BSc, and I have a total of 7 years of work experience in Optum Global Advantage. And I've started my career as a claim associate, then I've moved to audit and other positions. So generally, I've done masters in business analytics, so I want to learn about data and data analytics course. So
Okay,
that's
great. So I haven't, started much here. I just started explaining about what is data, in general. That's all. And I believe you understand what data is and, what is your understanding about data.
yeah.
Okay.
Uh, yes.
And any example? So here I've given a few examples, right? Can you think of some other examples other than this? So we generate a lot of data, we consume a lot of data every day. So is there any example that comes to your mind when look at this? Do you find these examples relatable? This definitely comes under data, and the examples here, they are relatable. Right now, let us proceed with how to make this data useful. So when, like I told you, when you search about something, you get a lot of ads about that. Or, when you plan about purchasing something, you search about it on Amazon or anywhere, you get a lot of ads about it, right? Now, how do they benefit from it? So when you look at an ad, you tend to buy those things, right? And obviously, that's how they will benefit from that when you are buying it, and that's how their business grows. Or maybe even if you're not buying it, you're sharing it with somebody. So in that case, that's how it is growing. This is just one simple example. Another example could be when you go to different websites, you inquire about something, and you fill in the form there, you probably register for their newsletters and all that. So when you visit their website, that is also like, they are getting a lot of um, attention to their website or their product and all that. So that's how their businesses grow, just by you sharing your information or consuming their information. So that's mostly about how data helps these companies grow. I mean, just one or two, these are very simple examples that I've given you. Now after this, when you study this data, right, when you try to understand how are the sales have been going throughout the last few months or the last few years, and probably you might also want to check how was the sales and profit last year this time, and how are they going again this year. So these are the few things that you can analyze, and when you're studying these, right, study of data, that is what data science is. And in that, you have a lot of things. All these things that I mentioned about data analytics, data visualization, machine learning, and all that, that comes under data science. Okay. Now, the main two things that we need to understand here was data science and data analytics. What all is included in these? In data science, you have, okay, a very important part is statistics. Then you will have something called as EDA, machine learning. These are the minimum things you must know, and one of the programming languages to be able to work on any of these. Now, when you come to data analytics, you will have EDA. This statistics may or may not be important because this requires more focus on statistics. And this one does not as much as data science does. Because all your machine learning algorithms will be based on statistics only. In data analytics, you have EDA, you have SQL. SQL is for EDA. EDA is exploratory data analysis. We will talk about them in detail. Exploratory data analysis, SQL. For data visualization is also included in this. Okay, for data visualization, have you heard about tools like Tableau or Power BI? So Tableau and Power BI can be one example. Any one of them, if you learn, that's good enough. Here, SQL can also be included. A basic knowledge of this SQL is also required. So these are how this will proceed. In data science, you will learn all these. In data analytics, you will learn all these. So if you see, most of this is already covered. Now comes this deep learning and AI. Why this is required. You can learn this if you have basic knowledge of all these. You can learn these as well, but you have to proceed with first. As a fresher, complete fresher, you cannot directly jump into understanding deep learning and AI. You have to first get into a data science course where you will learn about all these concepts. You get your basics right, and then you can start learning deep learning and AI. This is something advanced which requires basic knowledge of this. Whether you're going for a job or whether you are trying to learn this, just out of interest also, you need to know the basics of all these. So that's how you can proceed with this also. So these are the three things which you will come across when you just even search about data science, any course on data science or any such thing. All right, so that is about this. Now, what we will do now, we'll try to understand the roadmap or life cycle of data science. Or okay, and what are the different steps is what we'll try to understand. The first step is definitely data collection. You need data to work on it, and how do you collect that data? Survey forms. Have you ever filled any survey forms? You have survey forms, and
Uh, I have seen the survey forms, how they means they collect the data, uh,
mhm,
means particularly some information uh, about the advertisement, something, or uh, they take the feedbacks is the most
yes.
common survey.
Mhm. Even when you purchase anything and you give a feedback of that or a review of a product, right? Review or feedback of the product that you buy. That also comes under data collection. Um, you are registering on an online shopping website. That is also a part of data collection, right? So that's how they would collect data. There are several ways. And now let's say the data is collected. That's just one example of it. Now the data is collected. After that, what do they do with it? Data is collected, they will probably store it at a place. Okay, after it's being collected, store the data. Now, when the data is stored, there are two ways. They can either explore it and start cleaning the data and work on clean data. What do I mean by clean data? I'll show you an example. Your monthly expenses, let's say these are my monthly expenses. Okay, and I have stored it over here. Now you can see it in a proper table. You can see different columns in it. These are columns and these are rows, right? We know what are columns and rows. So what is happening here? It's properly cleaned, it is properly structured, organized, and by looking at it, you will be able to understand what it is talking about, right? So that is what we call clean data. Can you speak about this data? When you look at it, what do you understand from it? Just basic explanation. It has nothing to do with data science. Just look at the table and how would you explain this? One or two lines about this. Does anybody want to try? What do you think this data is about? Okay, so as
It's a grocery data.
it's not really a grocery data. It's a monthly expense chart you can. Okay, and also, let's say if you can see here in the categories column, these are all the columns, right? The date on which that particular transaction was made. This is where what did we buy? The subcategory in that. Let's say I bought food. What did we buy in food? And how much did you spend on that? How did you pay for that? Uh, was it online? Was it offline? If it is online, what did you purchase from there? And some notes about that. That is what this complete data is about. And I mean, every row has the same thing. You see different monthly data, and you see the dates are not arranged properly. This was on 23rd April 2025, 18th February 2025, and the dates are all mixed up. And then you also see different categories here, subcategories, amount paid. So, what can I find out from this? I can find out in which month did I spend more? On what did I spend more? On what particular category? And have I bought online, purchased online a lot or offline? Have I paid through cash more or have I paid through online mode more? All these things you will get to know. And maybe with this, I'll also get to know that I am spending more on a particular category, which I should not, right? So, and if it's not productive and if it's an over expenditure, that I'll get to know through this chart, which is very simple. But let's get to this one. When you look at this chart, okay, that was about storing data. When you store the data, you have that information with you. What do you do with it next is called as EDA. That is exploratory data analysis. With the name exploratory data analysis, you will understand that we are exploring the data. And what does it mean by exploring the data? The questions I asked over here, right? How much am I using online payment method, or what merchant am I purchasing more from? Which merchant? And on what particular category am I spending more? All that comes under EDA only. Another one in this, let's say this is a student's chart. On a particular, let's say I have conducted different classes here, and I have student IDs, I have student names, when was the classes conducted, their attendance, their score, and everything. I have all this information here. But looking at this, you will find there are some discrepancies in the data. Discrepancies, as in some errors, missing things, or something, right? So, that is what we will have to find out as part of our EDA. Just checking if there are any discrepancies. Now, what do I see here? First thing, first thing that I notice as I look at this is null. What is the meaning of null? Missing data is one problem that I find here. Null means I do not have that information. See, there is also zero here. You see zero also here? What this zero means here? This means that this particular student did not attend any classes and they have got the score also zero. Okay, that is not missing data. That means the student did not attend and got zero. But this particular student here, I see null in this. Null means I do not have that information. Okay, that is what this particular uh, null value means. Missing data is one thing. Another thing is, do you see here student IDs? Usually, student IDs cannot be same, right? Although the names of different people can be same, but the student ID cannot be same. Every student has a unique ID. So you see duplicate data. Apart from duplicate data, you can also think of any column that can be added. Now, when I look at all this, what comes to my mind is, what else can I add to this? Now, I do not know what are they studying, right? I know these are student attendance scores and everything, but I do not know what are they studying. So probably I'll add a module over here and I'll add what are they learning. So adding of a column, or let's say if there is a column which is address, address of the student. But if you look at this table, this is mostly about their educational data. I mean, their class attendance, course, and everything. Address isn't needed in that table. It's not needed. So address, probably I'll drop that column. Dropping of a column is removing column. So dropping a column is also a part of EDA. So when, I mean, let's say I found all these errors that, a column should be added. Dropping off a column, probably I'll add it in a while. So adding a column is required there. So I found all this information or all these discrepancies when I explored the data. When I explored the data, I found discrepancies. Now, what do I do with it? I will clean the data. Now, a part of cleaning the data is that dropping that column, which is not required. So this column that is being dropped, and changing the duplicate values. There are different ways to do it, by the way. You cannot just go to that row and change it. Consider data from Amazon or Google. You cannot go, I mean, there will be a lot of things in that, right? Maybe a lot of people have just entered their details but did not enter their address. So in that case, going to each row and changing in that particular scenario is going to be difficult. So that's the reason there are different ways to do it. We do it using certain tools. Okay. So now cleaning of the data is also done. After this, there are several other steps that this is common for all, whether you are going for, you're working as a data scientist or working as a data analyst, all these steps are going to be the same. But later on, you might, so after the data is clean, it's stored in a database, by the way. Database is a place where the data is stored. Now, when the data is stored in this database, after this, you can think of what has to be done with the data. Machine learning algorithm can be applied to them if you are working for that project, or if you just have to explain it using a dashboard. What is a dashboard? Where you have all the data together along with different charts and graphs, where you are showing probably the monthly sales, performance of different employees, things like these. Have you ever seen something like this? Okay. So this dashboard can be created for tracking, the sales or employee performance and everything. After the date, so this is something that we will learn from scratch. And after that, if you have pursued data science, you will go with machine learning. Or if you have pursued data analytics, we will go with data visualization. Now, coming to all this, where this Python, SQL, you must have heard about all of them. You must have also heard about something called as R, Power BI, and Tableau. They all come into picture. So all these are the tools used for performing these operations. data collection, storing data, EDA, clean data stored in a database. You require SQL and Python for most of it. R is also good, but it's not being used a lot these days. So Python and SQL are used for all of this, and machine learning can be done using Python. Data visualization, you have Power BI and Tableau. These are the tools that you will be working on. So that is about how the roadmap or of a data science project looks like. But what I gave you here is just an outline of how things work. We did not get into any details at all. When we start working on actual, learning each of the steps properly, that's when we will, do it in detail. Do you people have any questions? Did you understand anything? Was the language easy to understand? Are you able to follow what was taught?
Yes,
Okay. Do you have any questions?
no.
All right. So, okay, about the course and how it will go on and fees and everything, if you want, I'll probably message it to you. I'll also send the recording of this session to you. And if you have any questions on anything, feel free to reach out to me. Like I said, this was just a demo on, so for you to understand how do I explain things and how does a proper project work? Why do you need to learn whatever you are learning throughout? Okay, so if you want to continue with the classes, you might want to send me, the time that you are comfortable taking the class. And yeah, it'll continue for 3 months. We will have 5 days a week class and 1 hour per day, 1 hour or 1.5 hour per day. Fees would be 15,000 for data analytics. And if you want to pursue data science, you will pay 20,000 and you have to pay it upfront. So that's all about it. And that's all from my side. So if you don't have any questions, so we can probably wrap up this session. Okay. So feel free to call me if you have any doubts or any questions. I'll help you out there. Okay. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you.